My people, it don't settle, it don't happen. No be small. Wole Soyinka don finally come give Donald Trump and in American people gbasgboso. E don settle. Hey, this visa wey be say dem revoke from Wole Soyinka, so e don settle. Wole Soyinka don finally enter battle trouser with American people. E say enough is enough. Hi guys, welcome back to Mama SOJ vlog. How you guys doing? If you are new here, you are welcome, and if you are a returning subscriber, God bless you. As you always come back to watch my video, my people know be smart, and I know say na different is na dey land for my table, and as the news dey land for my table, na so I dey carry am come here to come share am with una. My people, for today's video, I go to watch am together with una. All right, my people, make we go watch the video to see what really dey happen for inside the video. My people,
an embassy, and then we'll take it. Elaborate from there. Sum up the agenda of this morning. Yes, Consulate General of the United States of America, Lagos, Nigeria, October 23, 2025.
Hold on.
Yeah?
Oh.
All right. Consulate General of, you see what I talk about? What you freeze? Talk about this technology. All right. Sabotage. Okay, I can still read from here. So it's from the Consulate General of the United States of America in Lagos. Dear Mr. Soyinka, this letter serves as official notification by the United States Consulate General in Lagos that the nominated visa listed below has been revoked pursuant to the authority contained in the U.S. Department of State Regulation, blah, 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 and it's no longer valid for application for entry into the United States, etc. Additional information became available. I repeat that, additional information became available after the below visa was issued. The revocation refers only to visa listed below. Name of visa holder, Wole Soyinka. Date and place of birth, 13 July 34, Nigeria. Visa classification, symbol B1/B2. I'm giving these details because I'll be referring to that visa shortly. Date and place of visa issuance, 2nd April 2024, Lagos. I will read the latter part later on for dramatic reasons. I don't want to read it now. I want to read it towards the very end. Now, I think it's important for me to begin by reminding us about the history of this visa, which was issued when an accident happened to my green card, which some of you might remember. And so it became no longer valid. Unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you want to look at it, not long after that, maybe by accident, or maybe it's related or not, I got a letter from the Internal Revenue Service of the United States of America saying that an audit of my tax returns was about to take place, going back about 5 years. We're talking about tax returns, 25 to 6, 1 year after the other. And now, there are some periodic moments when they do an audit just to make sure you're not cheating them. That's okay. But there's an interesting coincidence about this, that I got that notice of a coming audit just after an accident happened to my green card, which you all know about. So I went to the embassy and said, listen, this is a letter I've just received from the Internal Revenue Service. My green card is no longer usable. I don't want to be advertised as a tax dodger owing the United States money. and being chased all over the world with letters and police. I said, I need to go in and answer the audit. And that's exactly what happened. I wish to emphasize that the United States consulate staff was very, very gentle, very courteous. I was treated, like a human being. Let's just put it that way, which is the way I believe all applicants for visas should be treated. And I left there without any problem. That was when I was issued this B1, B2 visa. I stress that over and over again because of some idiot in this country who still insists that I never got rid of that green card after Donald Trump was first elected to office. Now, why did an accident happen to my green card? I merely said it would happen, and it would happen, and it did happen. It's because I realized that many people were still skeptical about the new incumbent at that time of the presidency of the United States. And I said, you don't understand this man. You see, he's a philosopher. He's a philosopher of the school of the much abused ancient philosopher Heraclitus. And not to mystify that much misunderstood, misquoted philosopher, you can understand him by simply looking at Nigerian philosophy, most prominent and instructive of which was no condition is permanent. So you don't have to even go into the into Greek scholarship and sagehood. Just look at it. No condition is permanent. And so I said, this person coming in is just promoting that philosophy, which goes all the way back to the ancient Greeks and, of course, to the ancient sages of all societies. No condition is permanent. And I said, he would, however, I predict that his first mission in office will be to prove it by withdrawing all permanent documents, all so-called permanent documents, especially the permanent residence card. So I said, I'll save him time by having an accident happen to my green card, which took the form of my we humanists, we're always looking at gadgets. And unfortunately, when I was looking at my green card, it fell between the fingers of a pair of scissors, and it got cut into a couple of pieces. That's what happened to my green card. People say I destroyed it. No, I didn't destroy it. It just had an accident, that's all. But since then, I've been living, wait, let me make sure. Because very curious things happen to things which I say. That was a joke. I don't want to read in the papers, well, Soyinka started lying, saying that an accident happened to his green card. Oh, please, I have to be very careful. All right. So anyway, I no longer had a green card. That's what matters. That's how I demoted myself by circumstances from permanent residence to just another tourist business entry and depart. By coincidence, when I read that letter of revocation, I actually had some American citizens visiting me. They came for the Badagry Door of Return Festival. And from there, they came to visit in Abeokuta. I wasn't there, but they were made at home, and they were able to go around the place and even have some palm wine. So to begin with, at the beginning, I said, could it be that they're angry that I'm hosting their citizens just when they're reconsidering, or they've invited me to bring in my visa for reconsideration? I don't know how many of you read or saw the press a press statement which I made at the time when I received a letter. That is, we're going back now, 2 weeks before this letter, when I received a letter asking me to bring back my passport because certain facts may have come up since the visa was issued. And I was given a date to report at the consulate with my passport. I declined the invitation. First of all, I didn't like the date. Everybody knows what happened on that date, November 11, many years ago. So it was rather unfortunate that they picked that date. And I said, sorry, I'm superstitious. I'm not coming on that date. And then ultimately, I made it clear I was also not going to apply for another date to bring in my passport. So I left, I traveled out. When I came back, or even before I came back, I got a letter from the ambassador. What is that? What is our problem there? Is the house falling down or something? Just give me notice so I know which direction to run. So I got a letter from the ambassador. Very nice letter, very courteous. I wish always to stress this, that I have absolutely nothing against individual citizens as citizens of any nation. This is an issue which concerns the government. I have continuing good relationship with members of the consulate, the embassy. I received nothing but courteous treatment from them. I want to stress that. And so I received this letter in which he informed me that he was away when that letter was sent and that if I would please give him a call, he would try and explain the circumstances and so on and so forth. When I came back again, I got a letter, a reminder that I should call him. So I called. We arranged a call with him. I think it was 4 o'clock about a week ago. And he explained, and again he offered a special visit by me. I'd be received by the consul, and then they would ask a few questions about the possible facts which existed that they didn't know about when this visa was issued. He spoke, and he spoke frankly, and I said, shall I be equally frank with you? I'm not interested. It has nothing to do with me personally. It has to do with the treatment which I know, the brutal, cruel, and often unbelievable treatment being meted out to strangers, immigrants, even in some cases, permanent residents, which of course include quite a number of Nigerians. I know of a number of Nigerians who were turned back, who live in the United States, who've lived there all their lives. Some of them have businesses, they have grown-up children, families who are even citizens of our country, but who just left in the normal way to visit home, and then found at the airport they weren't allowed to get on that plane. Because in the meantime, either their visas were under examination or had in fact been revoked, but they were not allowed to go back there, etc., etc. I don't want to run into the... You all know what's been going on. It's all over the media. You have friends, you have families there. So I said, it's not about me. I'm not really interested in going back to the United States. I said, but a principle is involved. Human beings deserve to be treated decently wherever they are, wherever they drop their buckets, even places where they're just visiting briefly. I said, I'm sorry, I will not apply for a new date. So he sighed and said he was very sorry, but that meant that my visa would be revoked. I said, by all means, I'd be willing to receive the letter of revocation. And I assured him that both he and his staff are given permanent visa waiver anytime they want to visit the Autonomous Republic of Ijegba, situated in Abeokuta. There will be no reciprocal conduct from my principality. So he laughed, and eventually, of course, the formal letter arrived and I received it. So it's necessary for me to give this press conference so that people in the States who are expecting me for this event or that event or were thinking of it, not to waste their time. I have no visa. I am banned, obviously, from the United States. And if you want to see me, you know where to find me. It's elementary as that. There's a comment which is necessary. So I asked myself, however, the visa doling department is now looking into past history, because this is a statement that certain facts have come up. I mean, we're talking about thousands of people, by the way. I want us always to bear that in mind. So they've dug backwards, and if you remember, there were statements to the effect that anybody with any past criminal act, even felony, just misdemeanor, was qualified for revocation of visa. So I had to start looking back. Have I ever misbehaved in the United States? Do I have a history? Have I been convicted? Have I gone against the law anywhere? And I remembered finally 2 instances, which I want to make public now, in case it is brought up later on. So they will say, you hid that one. I remember pleading guilty at the airport one day. I was landing in Chicago. That's my first major production in the United States. We were in rehearsals at the time, Death and the King's Horseman. And the night before I left, I had to dash to London and then return for rehearsals. The night before, I'd gone to an Indian restaurant in London. And as usual, when I go to, when I am in those cold, wintry countries, I always carry peppers with me. At that restaurant, which is Indian, when I was leaving, I put a few green chilies in my pocket just to keep me going when I got back to Chicago. I forgot to declare those chilies. So I'm warning you now that you may learn that I was convicted for carrying some small chilies, because at the airport they wanted to charge me to court. And they said, but I could plead guilty and pay a fine. I think I remembered paying about $25 or so, for a few chilies. So that's one. That was one possible crime that could have been dug up, and I'd forgotten all about it, quite frankly. That's my fault. So that's one. 2, AMSAC. AMSAC is acronym for American Society for African Culture. AMSAC had a huge international conference, I think some years also just before that, early 70s. I'm not good at dates. Anyway, and it took place in Atlanta, Americana, a motel in Atlanta at the time. And I fought at home in physically. I had, shall we say, a confrontation with the police, some racist conduct by the receptionist led to the police being called. And this police came and he was trying to throw his weight around and so on. So I can be convicted, if you like, for, shall we say, for disobeying orders from law officers of the United States. This was at least 30 years ago. And eventually, I ended up, as a matter of fact, what is the expression again? Integrating the swimming pool of that Atlanta. I tell you who was there at the time, at the incident. Emeka Anyaoku, the former Secretary General of the Commonwealth. In fact, it was he and the late Kola Day who stepped in and sort of diffused the situation. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are the only two crimes I can consider myself guilty of in all the years, decades I've been going to the United States. So obviously, it could not have been. I don't believe that they would have dug so far back into my murky past to unearth these two great crimes and then revoke my visa. So the reason had to be somewhere else. So I began to cast what have I done in recent times? Then my mind went to Oscar Arias, the former president of Costa Rica, I think Costa Rica, Arias, the Peace Nobel laureate, whose visa also was revoked. And why was his visa revoked? Because he said that Donald Trump was ruling like an emperor. It served him right. I mean, how would we be calling the whole president of the United States an emperor? That was not very nice. So I looked to see whether I had committed any similar crime. And I remembered that I referred to him as the white version of Idi Amin. Now, you know, dictators are very difficult to please. I would have thought that he was pleased. I mean, Idi Amin was a man of international stature, a statesman, a first-class Democrat, you know. He was also, he called himself the King of Scotland. He called himself a liberator. He said, in fact, he was going to liberate Scotland from the grip of the British. In other words, we should look at Idi Amin as along the line of historic liberators. He was liberating everybody everywhere. Some of them, he even liberated their lives from them, you know, and sent them to places of no return. So when I called Donald Trump Idi Amin, I thought I was paying him a compliment. So why now, if they had contacted me, I would have said, look, I'll look for a new title for you. Maybe give you a more contemporary emperor, like Emperor Bokassa. But I thought that Idi Amin was sufficiently universal. And the man had said, Donald Trump, he was going to rule like a dictator. He's been behaving like a dictator. He should be proud to be acknowledged, a dictator, first class. Somebody whom, as I said, even launched the era of Heraclitus in the United States by making permanent resident cards non-permanent, showing that no condition is permanent. So I thought I would let all of you know the possible catalog of my crimes. Only one conviction, which I signed guilty at the airport for carrying a few papers. Otherwise, I don't know what else I could have done. But maybe I've also written plays about Idi Amin. Maybe it's about time I also write a play about Donald Trump. When he hears that I'm paying him the same literary compliment as I paid Idi Amin, maybe we'll reconsider and return my visa. Otherwise, I want to assure the consulate and the Americans here that I am very content with the revocation of my visa. And that, as I said, they are always welcome as individuals, as citizens, to interact on any number of levels that they wish, short, of course, of my going over there to the United States. I think that's all I want to say really about this whole issue. I said I would reserve a section of the letter to the last, rather than read it continuously. And you will understand why when I read it. That's the other thing I like about what's happened here. Aha. After that section which I read, he goes on to say, we request.
My people, now the video now on a new watch finish, so on a see wetin happen for inside the video. Alright, my people, I would like to end the video for you. Make una let me know wetin una think for the comment section. And if una never subscribe, make una subscribe so that una no go miss any latest gist way I dey upload. Una bye bye till I come on our next time. Bye guys, see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.